Hey guys, Brian Delivers You the Goods here. I'm returning to you pretty late tonight for this next album review for a premiere video, and hopefully you enjoyed this video tonight. It's going to premiere at 2 a.m. on September 19th, so definitely stay tuned for this review for Void of Vision, What I'll Leave Behind, that I got a chance to listen to for myself to see what I was going to think of this new album of theirs overall. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for the 10 tracks, which is honestly like 29 minutes and 22 seconds or so. So it's not a very long record, but I'll let you know what I thought of this almost half an hour record. So let's dive into this album review tonight. Now it starts with Oblivion. Great track, by the way. I'm very new to the band, so you'll have to let me know who the vocalist is, or I can look it up real quick to make sure that I get it down. Just basically make sure I'm prepared. So basically, with this band, their new record, Oblivion, I'm gonna start off with great song, like I said. I love the scream vocals from the lead singer, and basically this song really executed very well. So 5 out of 5 for the first song. Then you get the next track. Jack Burgin, I believe, is the vocalist from Void of Vision. Yeah, he's the vocalist, and I didn't know who it was at first. So basically, yeah. Now we can continue with the review, of course. Sorry about that. I just had to look into Jack Burgin, I believe is how you pronounce it. Sorry. Throat got a little scratchy. Blood for Blood. Great track, too. Definitely a banger. I mean, it has electronic work in this track, but it does very well how it's produced and executes very flawlessly. Makes it quite an amazing track. Jack Burgin's vocals sound really good in this track. His unclean and his clean vocals from time to time sound amazing, so this is a 5 out of 5. Supernova is another great track. Feels a little lengthy, but it's really not. It's only like under 3 minutes, but it executes pretty well for what it's going for. So I'd give this a very strong 5 out of 5. Neurotic had a few critiques with this one. I had a few critiques with this track because of how it's mixed, how it sounds, and just execution-wise, I don't know if I like this track that much, but I think it's pretty good in its own way. But it has some execution flaws with this track and how it's played out. So, final product is kind of pretty good in a way, but I have a few critiques. So, 4.75 out of 5. Gamma Knife is a pretty strong track. Really enjoyed this one. Jack Burgin's vocals, it does sound good with his regular yelling, screaming vocals sounding amazing. So 5 out of 5 for this track. Beautiful Things is probably the least favorite. I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's a solid track, but it's not one of the best tracks I've listened to of this record, because it feels a little dull. It's not terrible anyway, and it gets you through the 2.5 minutes of this track. Excuse me, I mean, get you through the 2.5 minutes of this song, but execution-wise, it does not sound like a pretty good song, but it's a good song in its own way. So 4.5 out of 5. Empty is a great track. I really enjoyed this one. This is a strong 5 out of 5, and it was a banger for sure with this track. I really enjoyed how it executed, and Jack Burgin's Screaming vocals and clean vocals were really good in this track. 5 out of 5. Midnight Sweat is another great song from the record that I personally enjoyed. And just the way Jack Burgin is singing, the way the guitars and drum work is sounding in this track is really doing good. Really something I really enjoyed. So, 5 out of 5. Decades, another great song for sure. With what I listened to, it does have a few moments where the mixing tends to shift from time to time. I mean, it's not terrible, it's still pretty good. And this track has good production and mixing in this track, so Jack Burgin's vocals sound really good. 5 out of 5. Angel of Darkness was kind of melodic in a way in some areas of the track, but it did have some heavy points. I still liked it. So it was a pretty strong track to close this record. So 5 out of 5 for this one. I have to give it a little bit of praise because the closing track didn't do so bad. So it's not a terrible track. I mean, I have a few critiques, but not to the extent where I'm going to bash this track that much. So 5 out of 5 for Angel of Darkness. Overall production, mixing, and execution wise, I found myself really enjoying this record. It's a really good record from Void of Vision. A lot of good electronic breakdowns in this record that sound really amazing. It does rely on the techno stuff, and that's not terrible in any way, but as long as it executes and the drum work and guitar work is there in this whole record, and it was, mixed with the electronic work. So, excuse my yawning. I am so sorry about yawning in this video. So, if I were to give this record its deserved score, I'm going to give it a strong 9 out of 10. Really good album for sure. Highly recommend you check this album out this Friday, September 20th. It is worth listening to. I actually found it for an early leak like 2 weeks ago, but I never really came around to giving it a full proper review. I would have premiered this on September 19th anyway because, one, I don't review albums not far away from the release date. I wait till it's close to the release date to review it. That way I don't get personally in trouble with the label. Personally. And honestly, with what I listened to, this was a really strong record and it's worth checking out for sure. And I definitely recommend you guys check this out this Friday for September 20th. It's worth listening to. And the next album review will be the Seether album review. Keep that in mind. So, 9 out of 10 I meant to say. I almost said 8.5 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for Void of Vision, What I'll Leave Behind. Thank you for watching this album review tonight. Have a good night.